Chic's Horror House, y'all. We are here with the Queens of Conversation Network. They saw your girl. They said, would you be interested? Yes. Podcast. And I can talk about what I want to talk about, horror movies? Absolutely. On it. So I am your host, Flic Chic. You can call me Akila, which that's what my mama named me. We are here to talk about horror movies, and I would like a little introduction. So we're gonna get into a couple of why are you so weird questions. I am an awkward Black girl. I've been awkward my whole life. As far back as I can remember, I've loved horror movies. That's my thing. So, question number one. What was the first horror movie or story that scared you as a child? Don't recall. My daddy had me watching something. He told me my first horror movie, I was 3 years old. And I will review that in my podcast. It was called, it's from the 70s. So my first horror movies that I can remember watching would have been Freddy or Jason. I don't know who I saw first. So they terrified me. I wanted to sleep with my parents. My mama said, hell no. My daddy said, wait till your mama fall asleep. Boom. Here we are a million years later, and I'm still watching horror movies and sleeping. And so I'm not sad about that. Freddy is murdering in his sleep. In y'all's sleep, in our sleep. You can't get away from that. That's terrifying to a child. Jason, stalker. He's a stalker with a machete. And the new Jason, not a big fan because why is he so big and when did he start running? What? I know most of the horror community knows that in the original Friday the 13th, the killer was his mama, not Jason, because Jason was deformed and them kids at that camp were bullying him. Go ahead, mama. Kill them all. I ain't mad about it. Number two, who is your favorite horror villain or monster and why? I'm rooting for everybody Black. So on my segments, you will get bombarded as much as I can bombard you with Black horror. Because it's not something that is out there a lot. We're getting more now, but I'm a back in the day type. So that's what I'm into. And I will bring y'all what I got to bring. Okay? If you could live in any horror movie universe, what would it be? The Flanaverse. Even though my top Flanaverse thing to watch is gonna have to be The Haunting at Hill House. Y'all say Hereditary, I say suck it. I hated it. We'll talk about that. What's your favorite subgenre of horror? I am a big fan of unhappy endings. As weird as it may sound, I just told y'all that I am awkward. A happy ending is not realistic. And it doesn't matter that I'm watching this wildly unrealistic thing. I don't want a happy ending. Everybody die. Carry me. That's what I want to see. Everybody dead. Y'all can have one person survive and I'm going to probably be irritated. Which horror movie or show do you think is underrated and deserves more attention? I would say foreign horror. Absolutely. Not just one movie, but foreign horror. I feel like what I've run across a lot in America, which is the only country I've been to, there are people here more often than not who swear they don't like subtitles. So I don't understand that. I'm not a big reader. Not that I can't read. I love words, but I am visual. I can read though. So a subtitle don't mean two shits to me. I don't speak Korean. I don't speak Norse. I don't speak Dutch. I don't speak Russian. I don't speak French. I don't speak Spanish. I can understand Spanish, but I don't know where are we even in this movie? If we're in Spain, don't know it. I understand Cuban Spanish. I just I like Japanese horror movies. I think that we in America need to watch more foreign horror, foreign films at all, because we're missing out, y'all. Y'all are missing out on some good shit because you don't want to read the subtitles. All right. Are there any horror films or books that you think are too disturbing to revisit? I do. Number one is going to be a Siberian film. There is no way I'm watching that again. That shit had me feeling like a bad human being for months after I watched it. And I can't believe that I kept watching it. The movie is banned in a handful of countries. I want to say 7 or 8. I've watched people's reactions to a Siberian film. The worst part that people complain about on the internet is not the worst part of the movie. I watched to the worst part. I saw the end of that movie. Don't watch it. If I tell you don't watch a movie, don't watch a movie, because I don't want no lip about how bad the movie made you feel. Don't tell nobody I made you watch that. Number 2, Irreversible. I rewatched that. Baby, don't do that to yourself. Triggering. So like it was so awful. And it took a long time for it to get awful. I was watching the shit halfway bored. Honestly, don't watch it. It's not for the faint of heart. It is brutal. There's a lot of violence against women, which does not bother me in film. It's scripted. But seeing that type of shit, and it's not just violence against women, it gets a little racist. It gets a little homophobic. No, what? No, thank you. Do you prefer horror movies that end ambiguously or those with clear resolutions? Do not cliffhang me. If there is no clear intent for a good, possibly better sequel or franchise, I don't want a cliffhanger. End this shit. And don't end it where I'm questioning whether or not y'all smoked the budget at the end of this. What happened? I don't want to be asking questions for the next 2 to 3 years because you didn't end the movie right. Like, what is this? No, thank you. What do you think makes a truly terrifying story? Personally, anything with realistic potential. So I'm talking based on a true story or based on true events. One that stands out in particular to me, the haunting exorcism of Emily Rose. Okay. I found out that shit was real, but it was in Russia. I have to find out all the information. There are crime scene photos. I need to go deep dive, swan dive, if you will, down this rabbit hole. I'm getting in here. I want to know all the things. Another one is called An American Crime, which is not I don't think it's technically a horror movie. It's actually a drama. However, some horrific shit happens in this movie. Horrible things happen to these 2 little girls. And I was like, ugh, people are shit, man. Also, that was my first Evan Peters movie. Hey, Evan. Anyway, how important is sound design in creating an effective horror experience? And I will answer that with the history of film, period. Dating way back to the black and white silent films. You have a text block, basically like a PowerPoint, long before PowerPoints were a thing. And then you have movie. So that was cap cutting way back then to make these movies, but it's the sound that makes the movie when you have a silent film. And there is a crescendo, a decrescendo. There is silence. I know the ingredients of a horror movie. So I know that if somebody is closing a door, a refrigerator door, a medicine cabinet, when they close it, somebody's gonna be on the other side of it. Or somebody is gonna be standing behind you in the mirror. I I can't be scared. I can be unnerved, but movies, they don't scare me. But now villains have theme music. And I, for the horror community and a person who always sides with the villain, don't tell nobody, tell everybody. I think that's pretty cool. Does what role does suspense play in horror compared to outright scares? And I will I'll say we'll discuss the original Haunting or House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. Yes, please. Vincent Price me all day long. But in this film, which was black and white, I'm sorry for sniffing. It's really cold. But in A House on Haunted Hill, it's really more about what you hear versus what you see. And that's where the scare is, right? But back in the 50s when they made the movie, like there are hands that are pushing into walls and into doors, not saying much of anything, but you see a face come through your pillow or above your bed, a hand coming, like a handprint coming through your door. Hey, I got to go. In the 50s, of course, that's terrifying. I get it. How has the portrayal of fear in horror films evolved over the decades? And I would say from ghosts, goblins, ghouls to based on true events. Now especially with social media and just how big the media has gotten in general, we have access to a lot more things. And I'm very excited to see where this takes the horror community. Why do you think people are so drawn to horror even when it scares them? It's the adrenaline rush for me. And even though scary movies don't scare me, let me tell you why I watch them. Now we're going to get into the psychology of horror flick chick. So, when I watch horror movies, it is for the kills. And not just because I'm this crazy psycho violent person. I am non-violent. However, I have children. I have an 11-year-old daughter in my home. If something, God forbid, goes down, somebody hurts my baby, I have 30 years worth of bullshit that me and you can get into. Okay? How bad did you hurt my baby? Because, baby, we can law abiding citizen this. We can the strangers this. I could an American crime your ass so motherfucking fast and not blink twice about it, okay? So the kills, my kids, and finally, whatever I'm watching, however horrible it is, especially an unhappy ending, at least it ain't me, is how I feel. I'm not going through that. I'm not locked away in somebody's basement or closet waiting on a black phone to ring, scared of, I don't know, some paralyzing monster. I'm not in that situation, so I'm good. That's how I sleep at night. What do you think is more effective? A slow burn horror story or a jump scare heavy one? I'm going to say, since I can't be scared by movies anymore, whatever keeps us talking. I'm gonna tell you a movie that did that to me. The internet wouldn't shut up about it, so I went to see it. Long Legs. Baby, throw that whole movie away. You can get rid of Nicolas Cage's whole agent, as far as I'm concerned. Nicholas, call me. We need to talk because this was not okay. Longlegs was advertised as the most terrifying film of the decade. When I tell you that is the most terrifying lie I've heard all year and last, y'all got me fucked up. I'm pissed off in this movie. I'm pissed off when I leave this movie theater. Months later, today, pissed. That movie was trash. What's your opinion on the rise of elevated horror, i.e., Hereditary garbage? I've said this in real life. I've said it on TikTok. I've said it on Instagram. I've said it on Facebook. Hereditary sucked, and that is a hill I will die on. My favorite scene in that movie, spoiler alert, the beheading of a child. And when I tell you, when I first saw it, when I said I tried to rewatch Hereditary to like it because everybody else is talking about liking it. Hated it. Still didn't like it. And I laughed both times. It was funny to me. Sorry, not sorry. But at this big age, I need my horror movies to make sense. I'm not saying get an Oscar for a horror. There is no horror category at the Oscars. I'm saying make this shit make sense. That's it. Be logical, even though it's wild. Make it make sense. Make the story make sense. You know what I mean? How has streaming changed the horror genre? And I think that streaming platforms have become the Pandora's box to horror. Um, and it has opened the doors to everything. There's so many streaming options, and I can watch a movie on my phone, a series on my phone, pause it, go to somebody else's house and watch it. Pick up right where I left off. I can stream whenever, wherever, whatever. And I love that for us so much, mostly for me. Are there any upcoming horror films, books, or shows you are particularly excited about? When I tell you Squid Games came out a few weeks ago, I've watched it twice. I don't remember how many episodes there are, but it's season 2. I'm 2 times, and I watched it with the baby. She asked me, could she watch it? Because the first season was so damn good. 2 times. Squid Games, watch it. Then we have Bird Eater, Wolfman, 28 years later. Come on, Killian. Grafted, Presence, Companion, Dark Match, Hard Eyes, The Dead Thing. I want to see that. The Gorge, The Monkey in the Lost Lands, Death of a Unicorn. I will tell y'all, just from the clip that I've seen, that unicorn is black. I can't wait to see what it does to people. Which horror directors or writers do you think are currently shaping the genre? Definitely Jordan Peele. Come on, get out. Remy Weeks did His House. That's going to be on my review list. That unnerving. We've got J.D. Dillard, who did Sweetheart. Mike Flanagan with the Flanaverse. Come on. Are you kidding me? He's got movies and series. He's doing so much in the horror community that they've named his works the Flanaverse. Come on, Mike. I appreciate it. Another great movie house, Bloomhouse. When I see that right there, yep, it's going to be a good time. A24 has some greats, not counting Hereditary. We've also got IFC Midnight. They keep the heat on IFC Midnight. My favorite is Shudder. They got all the horror movies, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the worst. And AMC Plus, which is more than just American Horror Story. So I think that the demand is there now with these streaming platforms for directors and writers to be like, the people is asking for something. We are here. I am here. I am strange. I love strange, weird shit. Give me some more. Thank you. How do you feel about remakes and reboots of classic horror films? I will say this as not one of the leaders of the horror community, but as a really big fan. Choose wisely. Don't fuck it up. Everything does not need a remake. Our classics are ours. So when y'all get to, oh, I'm going to remake, well, sometimes y'all get it right though. The Evil Dead, baby, I was so mad at myself for not watching that, the remake. And then they put a sequel on the end of that. And it was fire too. I was so proud. I'm a big fan. Sometimes y'all don't always get it right. Do you think horror is becoming more mainstream or is it still a niche genre? I think that with the streaming platforms, we're getting more mainstream. I'm still a niche girl though. So Train to Busan me, y'all late. Peninsula me, Seasoning House me. These are the movies that I'm just throwing out here. I will review these for y'all. I have seen them. I have loved and or hated them. They come. We still on episode 1. Oh my God. Do you think practical effects are scarier than CGI in horror films and why? For me, this depends on the subgenre and the intended audience, right? So CGI, yes, it looks cool. And that would be movies like Troll Hunter, where it's necessary. Troll Hunter was actually good. Don't sleep on it. Malignant, The Boogeyman, Late Night with the Devil, but Candyman, he didn't need all of that. He didn't need none of that shit. Tony Todd said, what we gonna do is we're gonna use real bees in this movie, but y'all gonna give me my money. Run it. Every time I get stung by a bee, y'all are adding $1,000. The man was stung 27 times. 27,000 additional dollars for 27 bee stings. I'm glad he wasn't allergic, but he didn't need that, and we are still scared. Let's get into this Tony Todd tribute. Sweets to the sweet. A Tony Todd tribute. I'm so happy to be here because where the tributes at, baby? Where they at? I'm looking for them. I don't see them. I've seen a couple of little snippets here and there, but you know what else I don't see? Tony Todd merch. It ain't on the shelves at Walmart. It's not on the shelves at Target. It's not on the shelves at Spirit Halloween. We need to have a conversation. I'm pissed. You know how hard it is to find a Tony Todd shirt? I found one. Shout out to, I think, Amazon. I don't know when I got this shirt, but I'm going to wear it till it falls apart. Okay? Welcome to Sweet to Sweet. Tony Todd tribute. I want to give the man his flowers. He earned them just with Candyman. And we're going to keep a running counter of how many times I say that bullshit. Oh my God. I'm going to keep it to under 5. I'm going to do my best. From a horror fan to the entertainment industry, we love Tony Todd. The man did a thing that nobody else could do. Sweets to the motherfucking sweet. That's what that white lady said in the movie. But Tony Todd did this thing that no other horror villain has ever done. Jason did not make us stop going to camp, wanting to go to camp, sending our badass kids to camp. Freddy didn't make us stay awake. Michael Myers did not make us stop trick-or-treating. We still out here. Pennywise, baby, we still trick-or-treating. We not that scared of clowns anymore. And clowns are still working. Birthday parties, circuses, haunted houses, my favorite place on earth. Yes, I'm weird. I know it. Y'all gonna have to get past that. What Tony Todd did, nobody could do. For 30 years, we have been not saying his name. He only comes when you call him. Only. He's not here if you're not calling his name, if you're not saying his name. I don't know if that is a comparison to the Lord, but Tony did the thing. We stopped saying it. I just said I don't want to say it 5 times. And I don't even know how many times I've said it already. We'll pretend. In my mind, I'm going to say 2. But that voice, unmistakable. Internationally recognized. Do you hear me? Okay. Respected. Unforgettable. That voice is legendary. And his role in Candyman put a horror crown of royalty on that man's head. His journey started with Scream as Ben in the late, great George A. Romero's remake of Night of the Living Dead. He's a black man in a house full of white people killing zombies. The original is black and white, and it's my favorite horror movie. I'm going to share with y'all why. That man being in the original, black and white, in like 1968, the same year MLK got up out of here, was assassinated. This big black man smacked the shit out of this blonde, tiny white woman named Barbara. And baby, Will Smith ain't got nothing on it. I'm going to just say that. 92 is when Tony Todd solidified his royal status with Be My Victim. Oh my God. Whose voice is that? I don't like it. I want to be a victim. Yours? Bet. You gonna say it 2 times? Baby, come on. Come on. I'm ready to die at this point. Be your victim. Why you gotta say it like that? All right, let's go. He was a seductive figure who haunted not only the projects Cabrini Green in Chicago, but also our very hearts, our horror hearts, those of us who have them, old and young. Am I right with that? We will not leave out Wishmaster, Hatchet, Final Destination. He was creepy as fuck in that. Countless other films that cemented his place as a horror icon. Listen, Tony was more than his characters, okay? And with that character from the Candyman franchise, Daniel Robitaille was more than just this monster that came out of nowhere. What I love so much about the franchise is that in the second film, that's where we get his origin story in the second movie. And it shows us that once upon a time he was a slave and he had a thing for a white woman. Not then. They said, I know you fucking lying. Lay this nigga down. Hold him down. We gonna spread honey all over his body. They did that out of nowhere. Here comes this swarm of bees. The bees came, they ate him up. They cut his hand off for touching a white woman. What did he do? Threw a hook on it. I'm pulling back up to this motherfucking party. I bet y'all gonna talk about me. I know y'all gonna talk about me. I love that white people were forced to be uncomfortable in hordes, really. Everybody that flocked to the movies, y'all had to sit and watch this. I have not researched how many people walked out of Candyman. However, I know y'all was uncomfortable watching what y'all's ancestors did to mine. And I love that for us. Get uncomfortable in these situations, in these conversations, in these relationships with your friends, with your loved ones. Get uncomfortable. Being grown means having uncomfortable conversations. We're not our parents. We are not our grandparents. Have these uncomfortable conversations. Tony did not embody the role of Daniel Robitaille. He bodied it.
They're evil. See what it means to call me by that name.
Candyman. 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 Sweet to the sweet.
Tony, we love you. I love you. I don't know anybody who has ever seen the movie that doesn't love you or respect you. We miss you. I hope that wherever you are at some point in time, I don't know what time be doing on the other side, but at some point you see this and know that we appreciate you. We respect you. We remember you. You scared us still. If our parents would have been with the shits, they literally could have been walking through the house when we in trouble, acting our ass. Candyman. Tony Todd's legacy isn't just the screams he's evoked, but in the love and admiration he's earned. He is and will always be the GOAT in my eyes. This tribute is for you, Tony. My first podcast, when I got the notice that I was doing it, Tony Todd tribute all day long. And you are the greatest, right up there with the likes of Vincent Price. And I appreciate it. I'm glad that I was able to witness you ever at your peak and then some. He's in the next Final Destination. I don't know why we making a 47th Final Destination movie. I don't know a person that's about to ride behind any flatbed with any wood on it and just stay in that lane. I'm switching. I'm moving over to the left or I'm moving over to the right. I'm not staying back here. But he's in the new one that's coming out this year. I believe it's in February or March. I hope we flock to the theaters to see one of his last performances. I would like to say thank you to everybody. The queens of conversation, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for having me. Whoever is watching this right now, thank you for coming. Thank you for sitting with me through my weird shit. I appreciate you all. Shout out to my production team, Egypt, J. Marie, Young Ace out here doing his thug thizzle. I love all of y'all. I'm excited to be a part of the QOC network. Baby, it's big stuff coming this year. And I'm right on board. Like, oh my God, I'm here. This is happening. It's happening. So until next time, keep his name out your mouth.
Be my victim. Be my victim.
Don't do nothing.
Video that I made. Oh.
No, not yet.
Welcome.
No, okay, hold on. Okay, the shit started recording. Okay, redo. We about to pause. Okay.
Make you question all your verses. You stumbling through your performance. You ain't hot or the warmest. I'm stinging hot, call me a hornet. Price of fame, you can't afford it. You want it free, do nothing with it. F you, pay me, the mentality, you scared to risk it. It ain't no future, off of your frontin', wanna create you a miracle. All work, minimal. You all talk, criminal. I am not hearing you, and I'm not feeling you. Y'all so disrespectful, like I'm supposed to be fearing you. Hip-hop renaissance. Remember when we went hard? I don't need an entourage. Why you need a bodyguard? Next level, same rules. You coming down, change moves. I don't gotta get in where I fit in. I've been here and been about my shoes. So don't be surprised at the kickback. It be the stuff you can't get back. My time is real, you don't get that. I'ma hit you with the real facts. I got that, I got that. You got that, I got that. I got that, I got that. You got that? No, you don't. Don't be surprised at the kickback. It be the stuff you can't get back. My time is real, you don't get that. I'ma hit you with the real facts. I got that, I got that. You got that? I got that. I got that, I got that. You got that? No, you don't. Y'all be rhyming like you scared to. Say the things you afraid to. So you just say what you paid to. Until the day they don't pay you. I'ma take this to the grave too. A lot of your day ones hate you. This ain't for me.